Welcome back. In this video, we are going to learn about Angular Directives. What is Angular Directives? The Angular Directives are used to manipulate the DOM. They are instructions to the DOM to tell how the DOM elements should look and which elements to display and not to display in the web application. Then we can use this to change the DOM elements appearance and behaviors. There are three types of directives. First one is component directives. This directive is an Angular component. The component itself a directive with some templates that will instruct the DOM how to appear. By using the selector, we are instructing the DOM how the component should look. Okay. Here we have this view template and also we are having this component. In this component we are having the selector. By using this selector, we are instructing the DOM how to render this view template, how to render this element by using some templates which are defined here. Okay. In the header.html we are rendering this, right? In the student details we are rendering this student component. Okay. This is called as component directives. Okay. Then next directive is attribute directive. By using this directive, we can change the appearance and behavior of the DOM. This attribute directive don't have the templates like component directives. Okay. The attribute directives look like this div. Okay, here we have this change color. This is an attribute for this HTML element. It is called as attribute directives. By using this attribute directives, we can change the color of this content, but it will not change the appearance of the other elements. It will change only this HTML element alone. We will see this type of attributes later. And also we have predefined directives, that is ng, style and ng class directives. Okay, we will see how to use these directives in the upcoming videos. Then we have the third directive is a structural directives. The DOM layout can be changed by these directives, like adding or removing the elements. This directive is also don't have the template. Okay, we have predefined structural directives, that is ngIf, ngFor and ngSwitch. Okay, these are the three directives coming under the structural directive. By using this directive, we can add or remove the elements of the DOM. Remember this, when we are using this directive, we have to use the asterisk before that. We have to use like this. In case of switch, we have to use another sub directives. We will see those things now. Now I am going to the browser. Here we have the some text, but we don't want this text during the loading. Whenever I am going to type something, that time it should be displayed. Okay, for that I am going to change some values. Here I am going to remove this input tag add h3 element. Inside that, I am going to use the structural directive, that is ngIf. See here, we have to use the asterisk symbol, and also in if I should be uppercase, equal to, I am going to give the expression inside the quotation. Here even name not equal to empty string. Okay, in the case h3 should be displayed. If the event name is empty string, this should not be displayed. For that I am going to use ngIf. Now in the component.ts file, I am going to change the event name string as empty. Now save the changes. Then inside the element, I am going to give the event name. Okay. Now save the changes. Go to the browser. Here I am going to type. See here, whenever I am start typing, automatically the element is displaying. Whenever I don't have any elements, that time that h3 element not displaying. This is about ngIf directive. Okay. Next we will see about the ngFor directive. For that I am going to use the paragraph tag. Here I am going to specify ngFor. As it is an structural directive, we have to use asterisk symbol. ngF should be uppercase, for equal to. I am going to specify the expression here. Here I am going to use number. We have to use of. I am going to specify the some values. I am going to give it as a mark. I am going to specify the mark. Okay, we have 4 marks. I am going to display the marks here. Okay, student mark. Now let's save the changes. Go to the browser. The error is the property mark does not exist because we are not defined that mark. Now I am going to define that marks. I am going to use that keyword. Save the changes. Now go to the browser. See here, student mark 67. Then student mark is 56 and 89 and 80, which are available in the array. See here, we have these marks. These marks are displayed with this content. Okay. Likewise, we can use this ngFor. The ngFor directive is used in the iterative structures like array, list, and so on. Let's save these values inside the component class, and then we can access it here. Okay, I am going to the component class. Here I am going to define the array, that is names. String of arrays, I am going to give the names. Okay, we have 4 names. I am going to access this. Instead of this, I am going to use names. Let n of names student name is. Here I am going to change it as n. Save the changes. Go to the browser. See here, student name is Rama, Divya, Shiva, and Smith are displayed here. Okay. Now let's see about the ngSwitch directive. Okay. For that I am going to create div. Inside the div I am going to have two buttons. After that, then I am going to have another div for displaying the information. I am going to use h3 element. Inside that I am going to add information, and then I am going to add a paragraph. Okay. Likewise, I am going to add another div that is for service. Here I am going to change it as service content. Now save the changes. Inside I am going to have another div. Here I am wrapping these two divs inside the another div. Here I am going to close that. Now I am going to give in the parent div ngSwitch equal to, I am going to specify some value. Here we should not use asterisk symbol. Okay, we should not use this asterisk symbol because this ngSwitch is not going to change something, but which directives that are combined with this ngSwitch, that will manipulate the DOM element. Okay, so we should not give asterisk before the ngSwitch. We have to wrap it inside the square bracket. Okay, here I am going to have a value nav. I am going to define this inside the component class string type. Here I am going to specify the empty string. Okay, whenever this button is clicked, I am going to use event binding. Click, I am going to call the function change nav function. Okay, and also inside the next button also I am going to add this content. Okay, I am going to define this function inside the component class. Here I am going to define that function. Okay, here I am going to set this nav equal to, here I am going to define a variable property as string. Okay, then here I am going to use this property. Okay, in the function call I am going to pass, in the single quote I am going to pass info. Here I am going to pass service inside the single quote. Okay, whenever this info is set to the nav variable, then this div element should be displayed. Whenever the service value is set to the nav, this div element should be displayed, right? So we have to make that visible by using the ngSwitchCase. Here we have to use asterisk symbol because it is an directive. coming under the ngSwitch directive equal to inside the quotation I am going to use info. Then inside the next div I am going to give the value service, right? Okay, we should not give name here because that name value is set here inside the switch case. It will check whether it is a info within the single quote and also service within the single quote. Okay, now save the changes, go to the browser. Now we are getting the info and service. If I click info, now the information will be displayed and the paragraph element is displayed. Now if I click the service, now the service history element is displayed and also the paragraph element service content is displayed. Likewise, we can use the ngSwitch. Okay, you have to remember this. When you are using the ngSwitch, we have to wrap inside the square bracket, and then for the ngSwitch case we can use info. Okay, and we can use here we can use ngDefault, that is empty string. If it is for the ngSwitchDefault, we don't want to specify any values because it won't take any inputs. Okay, go to the browser. See here, by default no content is displayed and empty content. Now if I click info, that should be changed. If I click service, the elements which are under the second div will be displayed. That's all about this video. In the next video, we will use these directives and the data binding to display the retrieved data from the database and to display in the our Angular application. Okay, thank you everyone. Happy coding.